Of course.
Wow.
As I said to you all morning, it is all about the road to success, and today we journey with Nicole McLaren-Campbell. She's an educator, entrepreneur, and professional speaker. She's regarded as one of the most influential voices on empowerment, education, parenting, and entrepreneurship. Now, Nicole is the wife of dancehall DJ agent Sasko, mom to two beautiful children, Elsie and Joshua, and her personal motto is aim high and be bold. Absolutely love it. Now, today we journey with Nicole McLaren-Campbell on the road to success. And before I introduce Nicole, I just want to play an excerpt from when she was a child.
I see myself in a village, kind of like a village, like talking as usual. But I see myself talking to people, going to different schools sometimes, or going to different places and speaking to children, speaking to adults, speaking to them, hearing their concerns. I want to be a people person. There has to be something more than material things. What's really important? It's what you have in your heart, it's what you think, it's what you say, it's how you relate to other people. That's really important. I'm not clear on my exact mission, but I'm not clear on that yet, but I'll get there someday.
And she was only 14. Nicole McLaren-Campbell, welcome to the Easy Skanking, and welcome to Road to Success, and welcome to Irie.
Lots of welcomes. Thank you so much. I am super excited to be here.
We are very excited too. I know your story is absolutely rich, and it's a story that needs to be told on a grand platform where people can get to hear your story. And sometimes, you know, when we have conversations like this and we speak, we realize that you can help somebody else. You can help a lot of persons. And for me personally, I'm looking forward to your journey in particular, because I know it is one that will undoubtedly teach and uplift.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. That's the aim. That's always the aim, I feel like, with, you know, anything that I do, with the work that I do. That's kind of the litmus test for me. That's the question I ask myself when I'm thinking about whether I should say yes or no to anything. Because, you know, one of the things we learn is that time is a non-renewable resource, and it is a zero-sum game. And so even doing this interview with, you know, I'm heavy in the enrollment cycle for my college prep business, and so it's a really busy time. But when I thought about what the objective of the show is and the opportunity to uplift and strengthen and give hope to people who might be listening, this is a tough time, so I had to say yes. So I'm thrilled to be here.
And thank you so much. Now, let's just get right into it. Now, Nicole McLaren wasn't an ordinary child. What was it like for you growing up as a child? I mean, you know, we heard that clip with this big vision. Take us back to your childhood.
Oh, fearless. I remember just feeling fearless and excited about many things. I would say that well, starting from as early as I remember, my parents got divorced when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. So I always, I don't have any memories with both of my parents being together, which did affect me to some extent. I mean, obviously, you know, it could have been worse. We weren't in dire financial situations, although money was tight. My mom is a single mom, and she, you know, and there were 3 of us. But I just remember feeling unstoppable, and the way that I was raised, and I tried to raise my own children, is just without limits, feeling as though anything was possible for me, that I could dream big, and that nothing would stop me from, or nothing was in the way of me getting exactly what I said I wanted. I started to talk to my mom about my future life when I was 4 years old, she tells me.
Wow.
And so, I don't know why. I just used to observe people, observe situations, look around, and I'm like, okay, that's what I would want for my life. Okay. And so, I went to St. Hugh's Prep, big up St. Hugh's Prep, growing up. Mommy would always, I had a really special teacher there, Mrs. Pearl Taylor. I don't know if she's listening, but she's one of my earliest influences. Miss Holness was my first grade teacher, I remember. I skipped a grade when I moved to Jamaica. So I was born in Barbados, actually, random fact, since we're going down memory lane. My dad is a pilot, so that's how come I was born in Barbados, because they were just in Barbados at the time for work. Daddy was also in the JDF. And so came back to Jamaica, skipped kindergarten. I was in kindergarten for maybe 3 days, and they were like, no, she needs to go to grade 1. So I skipped a grade, and, really just always loved learning, always enjoyed school, always loved my teachers. I see a lot of that in my daughter now, which is really exciting. And, some of the feedback, always love to talk, by the way, always, from a bond. And so even my daddy used to play this game with us, where who can be quiet the longest, and I'm very competitive. I thought it was a real game, so I was always trying to win that one until I realized he was just trying to get some peace and quiet. And so always love to talk, and sometimes the report cards coming from St. Hugh's Prep would say, great student, very bright, etc., but she talks too much, or, she needs to tone down, or she needs to be more ladylike, or, I remember those kind of comments a lot. And luckily for me, my mother was and is the ultimate just nurturer in the way, in the sense that she just raised you to be yourself. She had no ideas, no preconceived notions, no desires for me separate from my desires for myself, It's like she just allowed me to be. She never once told me that I talk too much. She never once told me to be more ladylike. She would just get those and just laugh them off and keep being me. So very early on, I developed a very fierce sense of myself and courage to be myself. And so at the age of 13, my English teacher at St. Andrew High, now big up all Andrew's girls listening, Mrs. Ruth Gooden. And, honestly, I've been very blessed to have some really, really great influences and mentors and teachers, and it's just been everything. So, Mrs. Gooden, Ruth Gooden, heard of an essay competition, and she thought that I would do a good job on this essay, so she gave it to me. And of course, I write the essay, and I was like, I'm going to win this. And I did. I won the essay competition, and then, was chosen to represent Jamaica at MIT's Junior Summit. And that would be sort of when my life sort of changed in a irrevocable kind of way, because, all throughout high school, I'm the one always raising my hand, asking questions. And yes, the students would say, oh, she's so enough, or she
How did you handle that, though? Because, sometimes in the school setting, when children hear that, like, you tune off or you chat too much, how did you deal with those kind of comments as a child?
You know what? It was hard and it hurt. And when I got chosen for MIT's Junior Summit, and then I was in the Gleaner, and then Nickelodeon came down to film me as a feature, and it was just a lot of attention. And, I went to different conferences all over the world. I was giving speeches. I addressed the Secretary General of the UN at the time. It was just, I won an award from Teen People magazine. It really aroused a lot of negative reactions from my classmates and peers at school. Extremely negative reactions, almost like a hatred, such that when it was time for to graduate from fifth form, I was, being considered for valedictorian, and the outcry from the students was so strong that they had to give me the vote of thanks instead. Because,
are you serious?
People were so out, like, yeah, I'm very serious. And so how did I deal with it? It hurt. I pray about it, prayed about it a lot. And then I had friends, and I had my sister. My sisters were also at Andrews, and in particular, my big sister Rachel. You know, everybody was kind of scared of her, so you know they wouldn't really pick on me too much to my face. And then I had my good friend Tashika at the time; she would defend me, and so I always find myself, even under pressure, I find myself with real people who love me and who stand up for me and who give me strength. And then God is always there; He never leaves, He never forsakes. And so, but I really had at that point yearned to be in an environment where learning was cool and where you weren't picked on for being excited about a topic or asking questions. And so I decided I wanted to go to boarding school overseas. My mentor, the most influential person probably in my life, other than, well, one of the most influential, Mr. Bell, who actually still teaches, Russell Bell, MRC Learning Center. I used to go to him for math extras. And there came a point where I didn't need the extras anymore. And so my dad was like, why are we spending money on extra lessons? You don't need them. And so I just wanted to be in his class. I didn't care, you know. And he just said, you know what? Just come for free. Don't pay us. I don't care. Just come for free. So that was, and I do that now when I do that at AIM for students. It's like, you know, I can just remember what that meant for me in my life. So part of it is you always try to pay it forward, right? But anyway, he told me about this boarding school in Boston, Massachusetts, and I looked at the view book and I said, I'm going there.
Wow, just like that.
And that was when I was 14. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to 14, because 14 seemed to have been your lucky number. That's when a lot of things happened for you. You mentioned being featured on Nickelodeon channel in a documentary. You were also chosen by Teen People magazine as one of 20 teenagers who would change the world. This is like a really big deal. I know you mentioned briefly like the negative feedback that you got from your peers, but what did it do for your self-esteem like during that moment?
Well, you know, self-esteem was not my problem. I don't think it's ever been. Obviously, you go through good times and bad times and ups and downs. But I would say by 14, I had a very firm sense of myself and that I knew I wanted to make a difference in the world. And partly because my exposure to Mr. Bell started at age 12. And Mr. Bell is all about impacting the world and significance and just cutting through the advertising and the fluff and the materialism and just getting to the core of what does it mean to be alive and to build a legacy and to help other people have an easier experience of life and to just leave the place better than you saw it, right? So when I was getting that kind of recognition and those things, of course, you know, it felt good and you're excited and nervous at the same time, but it's not something that I took on to mean that I was, you know, I just knew that there was a calling on my life. That's it's just so it didn't affect how I saw myself because I'd already, you know, as I said, had a firm sense of self, but it just opened my eyes to, you know, what was going on in the world, the potential for me to impact the world, and that I had a voice, and I needed to use that voice.
You speak so fondly of Mr. Bell and so many other persons, and I think especially when we look at or young adults and teens in Jamaica, mentorship is such a vital part, especially for developing teenagers and young adults. Do you think in Jamaica now at the moment, like we need to foster and have more mentorship programs to help our teens, especially when you look at how Mr. Bell and others impacted your life and helped to shape who you are today?
Absolutely. And some of it is, you know, super organic. Obviously, like some of these people were just, I happen to be teachers, which is why, you know, teaching is one of the most important callings that you can possibly have, because you that is who our young people have exposure to every single day for like 15 years or 14 years, you know what I mean? And so the teachers as mentors are so important. So maybe it's not called a mentorship program, but whichever adults are functioning in your life need to take that on as a conscious effort. So whether or not we call them mentors, We all have, or we call ourselves mentors. If you know one young person, you have an opportunity to just make sure in your interaction with that young person, you are very deliberate about giving them a sense of, you know, not giving them meaning, but helping them to understand
Purpose.
and consider the meaning of their lives and what they're going to do with their opportunities. You know, so anybody who has exposure to any young person should really, really think about that. But you mentioned giving young people exposure to more mentor-like figures, and I think one of the silver linings out of COVID, and it's obviously horrible, and there are not many silver linings, if we can even call them that, but I think if you look hard enough beyond any problem or issue, there are opportunities. And with the whole virtual setup, really seeing the opportunity to impact way more young people and pass on certain things. So I created actually a free platform on AIM just to do just that, because at the end of the day, yes, you might be running a business, but you know, you have an opportunity to make a difference for people who perhaps can't afford it, who might need you the most. And so that's why I created that platform. I have a foundation where I work with students. It's something I take extremely seriously, because you can plant a seed in the life of a young person, and then that changes the trajectory of their life forever.
Absolutely.
And then they can pass it on. So like I have students out of my foundation now who have gotten full scholarships to university, who are now working with present foundation students. So you really see that is that cycle, whereas each of us just reach out and then encourage the person we reach out to pay it forward. I think we can totally change the world.
I agree. And we're going to get to AIM in a bit. I mean, it's something you founded in 2010, but you mentioned university. So let's go now from high school to university. And we're not talking about just any ordinary university. We're talking about Princeton University. This must have taken a lot of hard work and dedication. Talk to us about your transition from high school to Princeton University and what that journey was like.
Girl, before I reached Princeton, I had to transition to boarding school, high school, out of Andrews. So I left Andrews after fifth form, and instead of doing sixth form at Andrews, I went and completed 2 years of high school in the U.S. at a private boarding school called Phillips Academy, Andover, which, oh my God, I actually just posted about it last week. It was the hardest time of my whole life. I just think to college after going to Andover was really not very difficult, because Andover was like a mini college. I left Jamaica very confident, you know, on the heels of all the Nickelodeon things.
All the accomplishments, yes.
Super confident, okay? And all the accomplishments and all the winning, and I go to this place and everybody is smarter than I am. It just seems like everybody has it together and I don't. I'm no longer the bright girl, because everybody, as I said, I was just in a room full of people who, you know, that blew my mind on a daily basis. And these are students my age, and that's the first time I realized how important context is. I don't think we really get it. Like, context is very important, because coming out of Andrews being a top student and at the top of the class and getting all the awards, and and you read, maybe a book a term or 2 books a term, and then you go to this school and they're reading a book a week, okay?
Wow.
A week. And they're juggling 1 billion times more than you imagine could be juggled. But when you were Andrews on the number 1 spot, you were thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so, I'm really
this is it.
myself.
Yeah.
And this is it. And then you go to this other school and you're like, oh, snap. This is not it. The world is big, and there are people my age doing triple what I'm doing. I need to up the ante. But, of course, I didn't have that reaction at first. At first, when you're faced with that reality and you're accustomed to being number 1 and you're no longer number 1, it's a little come to Jesus moment. It's a crisis of confidence. It is a what do I do now? It is a pop down crying in the closet every night, begging your mommy to come home to take you back to Andrews. It was really hard. Not to mention, it's the first time I see snow, and when it snowed, it was a snowstorm. When I tried to open my dorm door, the snow higher than my head, I was like, what have I got myself into? And then, of course, the homesickness, because I'm a mama's girl. I slept in my mother's bed every single night until I was 14, until I went to boarding school. Every night, okay?
Wow.
So I just wasn't ready. And I broke down every single night, as I said. And one night, my mommy must have been so tired of hearing me cry. And she's like, all right, you can come home now. You can come home if you want. And let me tell you something. It's one of the times I remember clearly hearing God talk to me. Like, literally, God spoke to me in that closet and said, think about this. You are at a crossroads. If you throw in the towel now, how will you know that you can handle what else life will have in store? How will you know that you can handle it? And I was like, oh, hell. If I back down from this, then what happened with the, I just knew that if I back down, that it would mean something for my life that I never wanted it to mean. So I said, you know what? I started to bargain with God. You ever bargain with God? Come on, admit it.
Yes.
Like, all right, God, if you do this, I do that. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what I did. I was like, all right, Lord, get me through this, right? Get me into a real good college, because I can't leave Jamaica on the big boarding school scholarship hype and then can't get into no good school. So I'm like, listen, Lord, let's make a deal. And so, as I was listening to God speaking to me in that closet, part of the message was, stop focusing on what other people can do and what you don't have. Stop focusing on other people's gifts and strengths. Stop wishing that they were yours, and just be you, but be the best you that you can be. You can't be the other person. You can't be the captain of the swim team. I was never an athlete, by the way. And then number one in the class, and then this, that. Because I was looking at these other people like they must be superhuman. They're doing everything. They're winning at everything. And I'm just over here. The only thing I like to do is talk. That seems to be the only thing I'm good at. That's so worthless. Lord, why didn't you give me some other skill that could actually help people? Can you imagine these blasphemous things that were going through my head?
At
That's 14. How I know God is a good God. Well, at this time I was 15 now. I turned 15 in October there at boarding school. So anyway, that's when, after that, I said, all right, Lord, that's fine. I'll do that. I'll focus on my own strengths. I'll embrace my gifts. I won't focus on other people. I'll stop comparing myself, and I'll just do the best that I can. If the math homework is going to take me 3 hours and it take my roommate half hour, I'm not going to worry about her half hour. I'm going to put in my 3 hours. And I tell you, that decision is
Wow, I think we seem
life keeps coming at you, as we know. Hello, 2020. But it's about you developing that strength, and that's what I would say. My very rough transition to boarding school was like. But even still, after I got into Princeton now, and I said, okay, I've gotten into an Ivy League, and Lord, you kept your promise. Thank you, Lord. And I'm, still on the heels of all the previous winning in Jamaica. I'm like, you know what? I've just been winning and winning for a while, and thank God this university thing happened. I don't want to spoil the streak now. I've just been lucky. Let me just go easy now. I'm not going to bother go too hard. So what I did, was because I was afraid of failing, of the so-called winning streak or the luck streak to be over. I went after less, and I talk about this in my book, Make It Count. It's just the most ridiculous thing that I've ever done.
All right, Nicole, if you're hearing us, the signal is going in and out.
Because of that.
Right. We didn't hear what you said just now. The signal went out. So you're saying because of the winning streak and you wanted to hold back a bit?
Because of the winning streak, I which I attributed to luck. I did not want my luck to run out. I started to be afraid that I scraped into Princeton now, and this is, I thank God. So let me not bother try anything else too hard or too risky, because I didn't want to fail. It's like I almost told myself, be satisfied now. So it's really domino, but I'm just telling you what I was thinking.
At the moment, yes.
And at that moment, and because of that, I would say my career at Princeton was unremarkable. There were so many things I could have gone after. I could have done fellowships. There's just so much I could have applied for. I could have gone all out.
So you went through.
Definitely made more friends. I was just scared.
You went through the entire Princeton journey just laid back?
I wouldn't say laid back. I got good grades. I went to class. I did what I needed to do. But I did not unleash the fullness of what is inside or was inside of me. Certainly not. I mean, I've got the internship at the investment bank, but I was playing it safe. You know, I was like, okay, this is a good paying internship. My major is economics. This will lead to a stable job. But when I started the internship, I knew it wasn't for me, but it paid so much money. I was just like, but this must be success. So I was like, let me just try to make it fit me, you know? And they asked me to come back the following summer, and if you know how these companies work, once you do one internship, they ask you to come back a second. The next thing is to go and work for them full-time after graduation. And so I didn't want to go back this summer, but I said, you know, you'd be so stupid to turn down this opportunity, Nicole. Now you can make money. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I went, I did it again, and I hated it so much. Every single day going to work was a chore. And I said, you know what? That's when I realized, I said, fine, I want to make money. I do. And that is important to me. It's important for me to have flexibility and freedom of choice and be able to do what I love and help people I need to help and all of that. And for that, I need to earn money. But I'm not going to earn money at the expense of my happiness. I'm not going to do what doesn't make my soul feel happy. So I swerved the big job. My father was just like, what are you doing? Because he's a safety man. He errs on the side of safety, you know, and he loves me so much, and he's just thinking, you know, don't bother come back to Jamaica now. You need to stay abroad, earn some money. But of course, I love Jamaica. I'm obsessed with Jamaica. It's the only place that I could live, the only place I want to be. And so I came back to Jamaica.
Wow. And
left Wall Street.
So in that moment, Nicole, in that moment when you were walking away from this big job that really pays and going into the uncertain, how did that make you feel, and what did you tell yourself in that moment that, look, irrespective of what happened, did you still believe that you would become successful, or did you have doubts walking away? Like you're walking away, but it's like, boy, I wonder if this is the right thing you're doing. What was that moment like for you? Because it's a huge decision.
Well, you know what I did? I didn't try immediately to come to Jamaica. Now that I go back into the details of it. And it's so funny how you tend to remember things, and sometimes you don't remember them exactly the way they were. Now that I'm talking to you, I remember doing other interviews, like I interviewed with Disney.
One second,
Disney.
Nicole. This conversation is so hot, but we have to cut it for Cash Pod. It's so powerful. Stick and stay.
Here they come. First up for dollars is number 16. The second dollars number is 35. Up next, we have number 10. Followed by 18. Coming down is number 22. And the next in line is number 9. Now I do hope you get the number right so far. The next dollars number is 1, followed by 12. And counting up, here comes number 13. Number 34 is next, followed by number 4. And the final dollars number, here it comes. It's number 17. So now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 game. Let's go. The first winning Pick 2 number, 11. And the second winning Pick 2 number, 32. Again, the winning Pick 2 numbers are 11 and 32. Up next, you can play it 3 ways. It's our Pick 3 game. First up for Pick 3, number 2. The second Pick 3 number is 3. And the third and final Pick 3 number is 5. So again, the winning Pick 3 numbers are 2, 3, and 5. It's now time to turn up your winnings. Get ready for Pick 4. The first Pick 4 number is 4. The second Pick 4 number is also 4. What will the third Pick 4 number be? It's number 7. And the fourth and final Pick 4 number is 0. So again, the winning Pick 4 numbers are 4, 4, 7, and 0. Now it's easy for win. Let's heat things up with Hot Pick. Here goes. And the winning Hot Pick number is 13. Congratulations to all Hot Pick winners. Again, the winning number is 13. Let's get ready to play our Cashpot game for Thursday, September 17, 2020. Now you live to play it, but can you win it? Get ready to be a big Cashpot winner. Let's see what the winning Cashpot number will be. And here it comes. This afternoon's winning cashpot number is 4. Congratulations to all cashpot winners. Again, the winning number is 4. Did you win it? Thank you for playing this afternoon's cashpot game. And now, let's try to mega your cashpot money. Good luck. A white ball has been selected. So again, the winning cashpot number is 4. The lucky mark is egg. And a white ball has been selected. Now let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers. And congratulations to everyone who won. Join us again at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I'm Peter Gay. Have a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
That was the lunchtime top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 3 p.m. for another chance to win in hot pick and cash pot special pot draws.
When me use Island Fresh with aloe vera, it make me skin feel so much smoother. So if you want to feel better and smell fresher, use Island Fresh with aloe vera.
Manufactured by Island Products, 934-0666.
The time is
4 minutes after 1 o'clock.
Hey, what's on now?
If you're just joining us, it is all about the road to success, and we have our very talented and inspiring guest. We journey with Nicole McLaren-Campbell on the road to success. Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Awesome. No, we were in the conversation so inspiring and sweet that, look here, we nearly missed the cash pot, but luckily we got it in.
Oh, Lord. And you all know, you cannot miss
Look
the
here.
cash pot, okay? Okay.
That is a big blunder. But you were in the midst of talking to us about returning to Jamaica, and I was asking you if it was, clearly it's not an easy decision. It was a big move, a big decision. You walked away from a big job, high-paying job in the United States to return to Jamaica.
The prospect of a big job, yeah.
Right. So tell us now, was that an easy decision? Were you sure, certain about this move, this decision, and you were saying that you remembered something when we had to cut?
Yeah, I remember that, sometimes life has a way of just working out in a certain way. Sometimes when you refuse to make the decision is made for you. And I think what happened is that I, went the first summer and with an open mind and realized it wasn't for me. And then they asked me to come back, offered me another job. And I went back knowing that it wasn't for me. And then by the time that second summer was over, it was very clear to me from my just unhappiness and kind of, I would do the job, but there wasn't that passion or enthusiasm there to even convince the company either, because I wasn't even trying. At this point, I said, you know what, this is not for me. And just even in how your body reacts, your emotions, your stress level, it's like all these things are signs, they're indicators, and we have to listen to those things. Sometimes we think only, we have to see hard evidence to know. Sometimes the evidence is in your whole physiology. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I interviewed. It wasn't like I was just like, all right, going to Jamaica, like I made some big, powerful decision. It was that, all right, let me do some more interviews. And so interviewed with Disney, didn't get that job. They asked me, sometimes like when I'm helping kids with college apps, based on the questions that particular college is asking them, you can tell it's not a fit. And so based on the questions they ask it, I was like, this is not, it wasn't a fit either. And I say, you know what? I'm going to go back to Jamaica. Of course, I had no job. So it was scary. But I had been, through my youth advocacy, activism stuff, I had made some contacts because I was doing the thing with MIT. I had gotten to know the Minister of Technology at the time. And so I applied to that ministry for a job, got a job. It was actually so funny that the job was in small business development. Who knew? And we worked on a small business incubator project. So my first job was actually with the Ministry of Industry, Technology, Energy, and Commerce. And I just, it was okay, but I wasn't like, super
Happy.
enthusiastic, and I didn't know what the trajectory from that point was going to be. And then everybody started saying, so what you doing now? What you doing now? What you doing now? And then I started to feel like, you know what? I need to go to grad school. And I'm like, and when I look at it now, and I mean, it affects so much of how I advise students now, why was I going to grad school? No other reason than to just have a safety net and feel like I was doing something productive or moving forward, making progress. I had no business going to grad school at that point. I hadn't even sat down to really think about what I wanted to do. So anyways, I went to grad school. I studied globalization and development studies. I went to London, University of London School of Advanced Study. And that whole grad school application process was really when I came face to face with the fact that the winning streak was over.
Whoa.
Because I applied to the London School of Economics, which, prestigious and like, okay, that's my next move. I am going to keep winning now. And as I told you, as I confessed, the truth of the matter is I didn't have the profile to get into London School of Economics at the time because I did not stand out in my undergraduate career at Princeton the way that I should have. I did not go all out and maximize my potential. I didn't put myself up for big leadership roles. I didn't, so I didn't get into the London School of Economics. Then I applied to Carreras, Blessed Carreras, because the funny thing is I applied for their scholarship. I made it to the last interview round, and then I didn't get chosen. Of course, I was devastated. I'm like, I'm really a loser now. But I did get into the School of Advanced Studies for the University of London, and in particular at the Institute of Commonwealth Studies, which excited me because I was so tired. I had been, 6 years in a U.S. system where everything is studied to do with international relations puts U.S. in the center. And I was like, I would love to go to London and experience a different sort of orientation. And then the focus on Commonwealth was great because I wanted to learn about our countries. And so I decided in that point that I'd make the most of that opportunity. And let me tell you something, not getting that career scholarship and not getting into my top choice grad school is the best thing that ever happened to me. Best.
Why you say that?
Because I failed and I didn't die. I learned what it meant to go after something I really wanted and not get it. And I was like, oh, this is not so bad. I'm alive. It's, it's, I can try something else. It's okay. It's like, it was the biggest freedom because I knew that it was not going to be the end of the world if I tried something and it did not work out. So all of a sudden I was free to try whatever I wanted, which was amazing for me. So I went to London. I got a little scholarship bursary thing. I started to work for the Institute of Commonwealth Studies. I started to live that grad school life. By this time, I done meet Sasko already.
Hey.
So I'm like winning. And he came to visit me, and we took on London. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, life is going well. And then of course, master's degrees in the UK are like a year long, right? Doesn't take any time. So by the time it is time for me to come back to Jamaica. And then I met the Minister of Education in Jamaica, who at the time was Andrew Holness. And then that's when I applied to work for the Ministry of Education, and that was my job after graduate school.
So, because honestly, that's a question I had known for you. Like, if you had political aspirations, and that's exactly where I would put you as a Minister of Education. But talk to us a little bit about that experience, like working in education in government. What was that like?
I didn't work there very long, to be perfectly honest, because I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug, or became really interested in entrepreneurship. So let me see how that went. So I went into work at the ministry. I had a master's in globalization and development studies, and then I did a postgraduate certificate in policy studies, and went into the policy division with an assignment to the minister. And so, it was very eye-opening. It was hard work. I've never, ever encountered somebody with the drive and energy of Andrew Holness. It was something to witness. And because I was working on policy and assigned to his office, and then I was doing speech writing as well with him, for him, which, you know, he would never use the speeches, but I still have to write them anyway.
Yeah.
He would, like, read them and then hopefully absorb, and, like, he would pick out random things out of them and then make it his own, which is his style, so that's fine. But yeah, I would say working there taught me that, or working for him in particular, the type of energy that you need to just make things happen is extraordinary, and I learned that. I just learned how to go hard, you know. With working at Morgan Stanley those 2 summers in New York, I learned the importance of being precise and attention to detail, which has stayed with me. So I was able to bring that to the force, but just to the fore. But just realize that, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. You have a job to get done, and you're responsible for a deliverable. And so that was what characterized my work with the then education minister. And it was an exciting time to really look at the education system and sort of work on some of the policies. The Safe Schools policy was one that we worked on in particular. So it was really a great thing to work for somebody with that kind of focus, energy, and passion for Jamaica. But while I was working there, you know, I was also volunteering for Princeton University as an interviewer. And then I interviewed a young lady, and I just got very excited at the prospect of helping her to put together her application properly, because the sad part was, so I got sad and then excited, because the sad part was she was so brilliant, but I could tell she hadn't, like, I just had this gut feeling that, like, she hadn't put together and packaged the information in the right way, and maybe it wouldn't work out because it's such a competitive process. But if she had somebody to guide and assist her, then, boy, she could have really gotten this opportunity. So I run home now, because I remember I did the interview at the ministry. She came to the ministry. And I run home and I said, Jeffrey. This time Jeffrey was my boyfriend, not my husband. And I said, Jeffrey, I want to help people get into college. And I think that, you know, and of course I didn't know it was a real job. By the time I Googled and realized it's a whole job, a whole industry, there's training, there's associations. I was like, huh? Okay, I want to do this. And he's like, you should do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and I get trained during the summer. This time I'm still working at the ministry, so it was like a week-long training, so I took some leave. And then I just started telling more and more people about my aspiration. I started getting more and more excited. And then I happened to meet Betty Walker, who changed my life again. Okay? Betty Walker, I just will love forever. A good friend now, but he's a consultant. He places students in boarding schools. So he places, you know, like I went to Andover, he places students at Andovers and Choates and all kinds of different boarding schools all over. And I wanted to place people in college. So he was so excited to meet me at his Ocherius college fair, right, that he just gave me my first client right there. He was so excited by the fact that I had gone to Andover. And he says, although I don't know how, he's actually a really good spotter of potential. I'll give him that for sure. That's why he's so good at his job. And so he said, after talking to me for 5 minutes, he knew that I was going to be the best counselor. And so immediately he starts to give me clients, you know, parents who he has helped to place their child in a high school, a private high school, boarding school. He's telling them, no, you have to go to this person for college. That blew my mind. And that's how I got my first 2 clients. It's from Betty. And then now those 2 clients referred other people, and then other people. And up to this day, I think last week he called me and sent me a client. So to this day, he's still sending me clients. But that's how my career in educational consulting started. But you know what's the scary part? It almost never happened that way, because on the day of the boarding school fair that Betty was having, where I went down there just because, again, somebody had told me about this Betty Walker guy, and he was having a fair, and I'm like, but I want to do college, not boarding school, and they were like, you should still go and meet him. And so I was just so nervous, because the thing about it is that I didn't know anybody at that fair. I didn't know, you know, just like a room full. I'm an extrovert, but when it's a room full of people you don't know, and you don't know, right? But when it's a room full of people you don't know and you don't have a clear agenda and you don't know how it's going to go and you don't know if it even make any sense, it's kind of hard. And it was in Otorius and there was no highway. So think about Mount Russell. And I woke up that morning with a tummy ache and I was like, I get car sick. I get so car sick.
So you're talking yourself out of it.
I'm not going to go. I was talking myself out of it. I said, I'm not going. I feel sick. You're not going to make no sense. It's too far. Mount Russell, going for me. Blah, blah, blah. All of these stories and reasons why it couldn't happen. And so I just, I say, you know what? Lord, I'm not going to be the one praying to you every night and begging you for the opportunity. I'm begging you to open the door. And when you open the door and say, go, I come up with a reason not to go. I say, Lord, let me not be in my own way, Jesus. That's like still my prayer. Because sometimes we're there praying and we're there wanting the breakthrough. And then when God laid it out right there, we are the ones that sabotage ourselves. It's not the economy. It's not the bad mind people. It's not the this and it's not the that. It's not the COVID. It's not the self is who you need to be thinking about. Are you in your own way? So I could really tell that I was like trying to get in my own way. So I swerved and I went. And that's how I met Betty. And that's how AIM started.
So for someone right now who is listening and you just struck a chord with them because they are standing in their own way of their own success, of rising to the occasion and becoming who they are meant to be. What would you say to that individual at the moment? You touched them a while ago.
I would say, here's the thing. There are no guarantees in life. If you fail, you're not going to die. But if you don't keep trying and going after it and just going all out and doing whatever it takes for your dream, well, you're just not going to get it. It's just either or either. Like, what's more important, your goals or your fear? What's more important, living your purpose and making a contribution to this world or staying safe? A lot of the time it's just ego at the end of the day. So we have to learn to bring in the ego and the fear because we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be rejected. That holds us back from our dream, and it's just not worth it.
Absolutely. You also mentioned goal and goal setting, whether short term or long term. It's absolutely crucial in attaining success. And you also mentioned nothing is certain in life, but how important is goal setting? Because once you set a goal and you're working towards achieving that goal and not holding back yourself, what's the probability of attaining success?
Again, there's no guarantee in life, but success leaves clues. When I started AIM, around the same time I started AIM, I started to think about my life in some very serious terms. I started to realize that it was not about luck. Remember I told you that I was afraid that my luck would run out.
Running out, yeah.
And I would look at people living their dreams. I would look at people living extraordinary lives, being happy, having impact, doing all the things I wish I could do, having the success I wish I could have. And as a 23, 24-year-old, I realized it's not luck. Successful people sure do have a lot of things in common. I'm going to study the art of success. I'm going to study the science of success. I'm going to study successful people. I'm going to adopt those things, do the things that they do. I'm going to be successful. That was my decision. At the time, I was overweight. I never exercised.
Really?
What do you think I did? I put the exercise woman and the running woman and the carrot them on the vision board. Because I said, I read about successful people, they wake up early, and all of them exercise, or like a lot of them, like the people who are, and I'm not just talking about success in terms of material things and money, That's not what I'm talking about, I'm talking about not just having material success, but having, emotional happiness and having life happiness and just joy, because that's so important. And I said, look at what they're doing. They're disciplined. They're exercising. They're eating well. They have energy. They're consistent. There's just a number of things that I needed to treat as real necessary learning. We have all these things in the curriculum. We have all these things to learn with school and all of this. but who is teaching us how to be successful? I said, let me go learn this thing. And you know, I started AIM, and within a few months I was married and had a baby on the way. And I just didn't have the time I used to have. And it became very necessary for me to study success because I needed to be productive and efficient with less time. And so that's when I started studying success and implementing specific things, organizing my life in a very specific way, and devoting myself to lifelong learning and improvement. And then now, out of that now, a few years later, I started the Goal Accelerator Club because so many women in particular needed this support, needed this help, needed this guidance. And I was like, listen, I've been through it. I study it. I take course. I took courses on positive psychology and got a certification just to understand how our brain science works and how to keep your mind on positive and attract the opportunities. I mean, I went all in. So I'm just here to say, like, this is not luck and it's not by chance. You have to make a decision to be successful, and then you have to study the things that successful people do and do them.
For persons for someone who is listening right now, Nicole, and they're thinking that, boy, Nicole Bright from Shiban, from day one, she's been putting the steps in place, and they are basically, you know, late bloomers in getting an idea to say, this is what I need to do. Does AIM cater to late bloomers, or are you more facilitating?
AIM only works with high school students, or students who are like a year out of high school, maybe 2 years out of high school, just because our specialty is on undergraduate programs, traditional undergraduate programs, and for more mature learners. I'm not saying it's not something we might look at in the future, but gosh, I've really learned that focus is power, and there's so much more work for us to do with high school students that I don't want to start targeting another group and then not be able to deliver at the quality. So we only work with high school students, or students who are maybe 1 year, 2 years out of high school. We start with students in the 9th grade and then get very intense with them the minute that they finish 5th form. But the Goal Accelerator Club now is not specifically geared toward helping you to achieve the goal of college and scholarships, but it's geared toward helping you to learn the skills, strategies, tools, and have the support and systems to achieve your goals, no matter what that goal may be. Because what I learned is there's just a certain mindset, there's certain, there's a certain discipline, there are just certain inputs that it takes to achieve your goals, no matter what they are. So Goal Accelerator just works with women. I mean, the oldest Goal Accelerator I have right now is like 58 years old. And then the youngest Goal Accelerator I have right now is like 21. So it's a range of women, you know, I have doctors
That's
and
awesome.
lawyers and nurses and students and, you know, entrepreneurs and teachers, you know, lots of different people in Goal Accelerator Club, but we're just all women who just want to win. And so, you know, it's been like one of the most exciting things for me to be able to lead that group.
Make It Count, Tips on Unlocking Your Vision is the title of your book. How do you unlock your potential for someone who is listening right now?
First of all, and the first chapter in Make It Count is fear. You have to confront and deal with your fear. Really important. And the only way to do it is really to just curl your toes and force yourself to do it. No matter how you pain. Listen, the first speech I had to give, you know, was to Scotia corporate senior executives of Sasko. Sasko had to scrape me up off the floor to hold me nervous. Me cry.
You nervous, Nicole?
What? Mister? No. And Sasko to tell you, is him come say, what you doing? Get up, man. Go on, man. And I'm like, I can't do it. And I bawl. I reach the people in place. I park. I bawl again. Okay? Like, I thought this was, I just wanted to just get out of it. But there has to be something else stronger inside of you that when you want to quit, when you want to don't bother, when you want to stay safe, you have to be clear on your why. You know, clarity on your why is extremely important. What do you want your legacy in this world to be? What's your personality? What are the skills that you do have? What skills can you build? Like, what is really the impact and contribution you want to make to the world? And I think, you see, that's where the real joy comes from. It doesn't come from having a full bank account. There's so many people who have so much money and they're so unhappy because they haven't tapped into their why, you know? And I find that first tapping into your why, that will always help you to overcome your fear and take action when you need to take action. So even though I was really afraid, I want to have an impact in the world. I want to reach people. I want to help people reach their goals and live better lives or their best lives. And I realized that speaking is a part of that. So I had to do it. Same thing with the book. I was scared to death to write the book. It's a security guard at TVJ after one Smile Jamaica appearance asked me why I don't have a book. And I'm like, a book? Why I need a book? And then it's just like, after that, God just in my ears, write a book, write a book, write a book. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm not an author. Who is going to read it? Oh, my God, I don't know nothing about writing books. Girl, I just say, okay, I write in the book. And I made an announcement and allowed people to pre-order. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a scammer, so I'm going to finish this book. And
So wait,
that's how the book came.
You made the announcement for persons to pre-order before the book was completed.
Well, but of course, because I was
deadline.
so scared that I knew I needed external accountability. I just did, right? And nothing keeps you accountable like when you take somebody money. You better deliver, meaning for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, cool, I could deliver. And that was Make It Count. And then I wrote another book called Thrive or Survive, and that became an Amazon bestseller on the first day. And it was a Kindle. Well, now it's physical, but at first it was just Kindle, and it's a short read. If you notice, my books are very small, so one of the impacts that I've been able to have is that I've reached people who don't traditionally read books. And I think reading is such a central part of learning and life that, you know, as part of Goal Accelerator, we have a book club, for example. It's something I really push because it's changed my life. So I would also say, you know, clarity on your why to unlock your potential, getting over your fear or acting in spite of your fear to unlock your vision and potential. The other thing is tuning in to your passion, the things that interest you naturally, your personality, the things you find yourself good at, the things people are always asking you to do and you don't know why and you're so good at it. The things that maybe you don't think are so significant because it comes so easy to you, but to somebody else you could really change their lives with that. The things that might just seem like, oh, it can't make the money or whatever, but you just like to do it, you know? Do it. Carve the time in your life to do that, because certainly when I was thinking talking wasn't a real talent or skill, I didn't even know that my entire career would be centered around talking. That's what it is. Everything that I do with Goal Accelerator and AIM is about me talking to people. That's what I do every single day. So don't discount your talents or your skills or your abilities thinking, oh, it can't make money. I find that we cut ourselves off from our destiny because the first thing we can think is, that don't make no sense. It's not going to make no money. You know, no. Think about how you can be of service to the world, right? And then you have to have the courage to take action. You just have to have the courage to take action and be biased toward action. I find, you know, planning is very important and clarity, but I find a lot of people get stuck in the planning and the theory, and they need this to make it happen, and they need that to make it happen, and they allow perfectionism, which is really just fear and insecurity, to again keep them from taking action. They procrastinate and then don't take action. And I think the results and the success really belongs to the people who have the ability to take action and to take action consistently. So those are what I would suggest. And then last but certainly not least is our self-image. Self-image is really important. It's almost where you need to start. It's where we start with Goal Accelerator, like self-image and mindset, because you know, it's hard sometimes to see things as possible for you know? That's why I had to make a vision board. I could never imagine myself as somebody who could exercise consistently. I thought God made some people that type and he just overlooked me. I swear. I said, God, why you never make me the exercising type or the salad eating type? And I tell you, again, the biggest freedom I ever learned is that you're the type you choose to be. God will support you. God wants you to be your best self, but you have to make the choice. And so I chose to start exercising because that's what highly successful people did. I chose to be the morning person when I'm not a morning person because that's just what I needed to reach my goals, you know. I chose to build a lifestyle where I eat better because I need the energy to carry out my goals, you know. So really just taking responsibility for your life, no excuses, and just, you know, making that decision and following through with action.
Nicole McLaren-Campbell, thank you so much. This was absolutely awesome. I knew initially we need something like 2 hours. I knew the 1 hour wouldn't be sufficient. But your story is absolutely inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I know our listeners undoubtedly would have learned a lot, and they can take from your experience and apply it to their very own lives. So, together we can just be better individuals, better persons.
Agreed, 100%.
All right, thank you so much. And
Thank
any
you.
final thoughts? I know you spoke about your husband, Agent Sasko, and his support, and your children. Your children are absolutely awesome. Support
you.
is crucial.
Very much so.
And balance.
So I like to take this opportunity to big up my good man.
Hey, no, do it, girl.
No, but I think your partner is such an important part of your whole life's mission. It's either they're going to enhance or support, or they're going to suck the life out of you. And I've seen so many, high potential women with callings on their lives just be drained by partners who are just not there for the winning. And so, definitely for me, Jeffrey is my person. He is my confidant, and really when I need the strength and I need the push and I need the belief and the hope and the faith, other than Jesus, who I turn to every single night, I turn to him. I lean on his strength. And even in this COVID period, which came on so suddenly, and I'd already been moving in the online direction for AIM, but I found myself having to just be completely online almost suddenly. And just navigating that whole world and the whole uncertainty of it, and just the whole homeschool, everything. I just don't know how I could have done it without Jeffrey. He's just been just such a stable and consistent person for me. That he's everything. He's the best.
All right. Well, better way to put it. And I'll just try to put the icing with song. Come through, Agent Sasko. Thank you so much, Nicole McLaren-Campbell.
You're so welcome. I really enjoyed. Thank you so much, Kishima.
We did too. All right, take it easy. So, of course, that was our special guest, Nicole McLaren-Campbell. She's an educator, entrepreneur, and professional speaker. She's regarded as one of the most influential voices on empowerment, education, parenting, and entrepreneurship. Nicole is the wife to dancehall DJ Agent Sasko, mom to two beautiful children, Elsie and Joshua, and her personal motto is aim high and be bold. Yes, they're winning right now. She's winning right now. You are winning right now. We are winning right now.
Hot Thanksgiving right now, cause we're winning right now. Yeah. I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning.
WhatsApp says, wow, this story is amazing. I hope the young queens and young girls are listening to her struggle and know happiness. WhatsApp says, Kishima, I like it. That was really nice.
Like we cracking eggshells, and every single ounce of effort we expel. It's all about progress, cause we have to excel. I watch them looking like success, we dress well. Another knockout for the ring, the next bell. I'm about to send my haters a card to get well, cause I'm sick of it.
Empress Tanya Moravia says, so true. You have to declare things for yourself. You have some people see themselves as and compare, but when you talk to God daily, your task will be done. Your time will come. Your blessings is not another man treasure. So good interview, Nicole. Wish you God's grace and love you, and keep pressing on to higher ground. One love. We just have to see ourselves as a picture hanging on the wall that will forever reign. Success is this far I can be each day. All right, big up yourself, Empress Tanya Moravia.
Hot Thanksgiving right now, yeah. I say we're winning right now. So every day you see we are the reigning champion of the cloud with the silver line we reigning from.
WhatsApp says Agent Sasko is definitely winning. Nicole is his queen.
Yes, every quarter every inning. Hold the tracks and then offensive and swimming. You know that there's no giving in no matter the circumstances we're living in, you hear me? I'm winning. I'm winning.
WhatsApp says that was absolutely inspirational. Ted Brown from Middle Street Exchange says, what a lady with class. Totally admire her. That was really inspirational. Love it.
Right now, cause I'm winning right now, yeah. And I'm chilling right now.
WhatsApp says, Nicole, she oozes a lot of passion. You hear how she passionate?